Hi everyone, my beautiful people. How are you? Thank you for coming on and taking the time to listen or even view my video. I wanted to talk about something that I went through a few weeks ago. I have been putting a lot of work into my journey, my healing, my traumas, just really trying to get into a place of peace from head to toe, inside out, outside in. And there's been a lot of reflection that comes with that. And all the work that I've been putting in as far as meditations and prayers and just focusing on the positive side of things has really, really shown up for me in this particular incident that happened a few weeks ago. I was really upset by a person, and truth be told, if this was even like a few months ago, maybe like 6 months ago, I don't know if I would have been able to react in the manner that I did. It really pays off to really just love oneself and to just really concentrate and focus on just the goodness of your life, the goodness of your journey, the things that you've learned, the things that you've grown from, and even the things that you've let go of. And in this particular incident, my blood was boiling. I was so upset. And the old me, like I already had my list of people that I wanted to call and just be like, oh my God, can you believe da 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 da, and that would have been an instant reaction. I would have probably called one person that night, and then the next morning I would have called a few more people just to continue to vent and continue to be upset, continue to live in the space of anger, being upset, and all of that. But in reality, here's the thing. The thing is that I'm so much more aware of myself. I'm aware of my emotions. I'm aware of my actions. I'm aware of my reactions. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of my intentions more so than ever. So it's kind of hard to be fully aware of the things that I am able to control and still behave like my old self, where I was probably aware, but I would be aware more after the fact. And I'm really trying to be more intentional with everything that I'm doing, that I'm saying, my behavior, and really just catching it as it happens. And with that, becoming aware of my thoughts, my actions, how people are making me feel, it's really a matter of not letting all the hard work that I've put into myself go to waste, meaning not taking those steps backwards, going forward. So that particular night, I laid in bed, I said my prayers, and I literally I gave it all to God. Like, cool, I don't want it. No, thank you. You take it. I really just want a good night's sleep. That's all that I want to do. And I did. It wasn't like the best sleep, but it was definitely a better sleep than the old me would have had. And in the morning, I woke up in prayer, meditation, gratitude, and just really thinking about the situation in a different light. And the one thing I came across is this. I wanted to see the good in the situation. And the good that came out of the situation was that I haven't felt that upset in A long time, and B, specifically from this person. So I took that as a plus. Like, okay, things can always be worse. It could be a constant situation, and thankfully it's not. So what am I going to do with those feelings? And I just continued to honestly stay still, and I allowed myself to feel what I had to feel, but on a lower level, on a lower scale, because everything that I've been doing, all the homework, all the daily rituals, all the consistency, that has to matter. It has to, especially for these moments, it has to make sense. So that's literally what I did. I focused on all of that. The new me, the new awareness, the person that wants to not react like my old self. And not that I reacted in a bad way or anything, but we can always be better in everything in life. Like, that's the whole point, I feel, of growing. Personal growth is we can always be better at everything that we do. Even if it's something that we think we're already great at, we can always be even better than that. And so for me, it was just really taking myself into accountability, and just my thoughts, my words, my just everything about that situation. And so I was on my way to LA that day, and I remember I was, my playlist is like all over the place. It's all sorts of music, but the right music was coming on. I was feeling the messages. I felt that it was all destined for my ride to my destination, and it really helped calm me down. One of them being a meditation song that came on, and it was just really great. It was soothing. It really brought me back to home, which is in my heart. And it calmed me down, it relaxed me, and I felt peace. I felt peace because I wasn't going to allow the situation or even this person, these people, to rob me of all of my hard work. And that's really what it comes down to. It helped that I was able to place something positive in the situation, which is, okay, A, I haven't been that upset in a while, and B, specifically from this person or these people. So that really gave me a sense of light. And it's not like oh, they've changed. Like, it has nothing to do with them. It's literally me. I've changed. I've been putting the work into my whole being. I'm the one that's being consistent, wanting to do better, wanting to be better, wanting to be more aware, wanting to be more compassionate and kinder. I'm the one that's been doing the daily routines of just becoming this whole new person. And really, that's what I was focusing on. And I was proud of myself, because that's really, that's what we should be. We should be proud of all the work that we put into whatever it is, whether it's ourselves, other relationships, our careers, our homes, wherever we're exerting our energy. If we're doing it with intention, we should always be proud of that. So I was proud of myself. So I went and did my thing at this errand that I had to run. And then on my way back, that's when I was like, I'm gonna call my sister. It was lunchtime, so I'm like, let me give her a call. I called her, and what was cool was that we were able to have a full-on conversation about everything but what had happened the night before with me being upset. And it wasn't until the tail end of the conversation that I was able to express to her what had happened and how I was feeling. But what was cool was that I was able to just say it to her, like any other conversation. I wasn't like, can you believe, I wasn't going all mad or whatever. I was just speaking to her as if anything, any other topic. And I was telling her that, I really just don't want to live in that space anymore. I really want to be able to not just be aware of how I'm reacting to things, but really take ownership of the fact that I really can't control how upset or how long I want to be upset for, or how I want this situation or this person or whatever to affect me. And I don't want for anyone or anything to rob me of any more than necessary of that space and time for me to be in that negative, energy. And so I honored my feelings. I allowed myself to feel, but then I just chose not to live in that space for much longer than necessary. And it was way less than 24 hours. And for me, and you know what, it may not always be that way, but it's putting in the practice. It's putting in the practice of self-awareness. We can be fully aware of what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're speaking, how we're reacting, right? We can be aware of like, oh, I just said that, or I just did that, or I just thought that, right? But what are we doing with that? What are we doing with that awareness? Like, are we being proactive to change it, or are we just acknowledging it, but still repeating, the pattern, still repeating the behavior, still repeating whatever it is that we're being aware of, That's really the whole point. Everything that I'm doing, the whole work, it's for the purpose of that, when I'm aware about something, I'm able to make a choice at that moment of how I want to take action. How do I want to execute that awareness? What do I want to do with that? And that's something that I feel, sometimes we lack that, you know, just that accountability of situations. You know, it's always easy to point the fingers or to say, well, that's just the way that I am, so you know, it is what it is, right? And no, like, in all fairness, like, that's not okay. It's not okay. You can be like this amazing person in so many areas of your life, but then, like, if you have a short temper, no patience, and you tend to go from like 0 to like 100, like instantly, I don't think that's okay. You know, and then after the fact, being aware that that's how you react to things, but then just, you know, well, I mean, that's just the way I am. Like, I don't think that's okay and that's fair, because I feel like that's no different than like someone who chooses to be a liar, someone who chooses to be a cheater, someone who chooses to mistreat people. Like, yeah, I'm aware of it, but okay, that's just who I am. Like, I just don't agree with that. I don't think that's cool. You know, the older I'm getting, the more, for me at least, that's just a priority within myself and an observation within the people around me. Because I think that we are in a time where, my gosh, there's all sorts of guidance, help, assistance, leadership, whatever, whether, you know, it's your podcast, your books, your audibles, obviously social media, right? TikTok, you know, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I mean, there's all sorts of resources out there, because there's many of us going through something or another that we can all relate to. So there's like, really, I mean, gosh, unless you live in the middle of nowhere and you have absolutely zero type of connection to the world, you know that there's always a better way of doing things. We can always be better. Accountability is hard, because that really looks, you know, you really have to look deep inside of yourself and be able to acknowledge everything, the good, the bad, the in between, the flaws. But, you know, but it's also a great practice to give ourselves grace at the same time. You know, it's not a matter of judging ourselves. It's just a matter of acknowledging, like, all right, you know, so when this happens, I tend to do this, X, Y, and Z, or I tend to react in this manner, or whatever. Like, how can I be better? Is that really being effective? Who is it affecting? Is it being proactive towards my goals for myself? It's all these things that we should really take into consideration, because they do matter. All of that matters. And it's not something that, you know, you're gonna get overnight. I mean, gosh, it's taken me this entire year and a half to really learn so much about myself, see my every angle of myself, you know, dig deep down inside of myself, seeing the good, you know, the bad, the strong, the weak, the fearless, the faithfulness, like just everything about me. And there's some things that I definitely had to be like, damn, I don't want to see that. But I had to learn how to be graceful towards myself and be kind and be like, all right, so I tend to be this way. Like, how can I change? And it's like, and it can be even like little things. Like, sometimes because I'm very like this, you know, I like it this way and that way, and that's just how I run my business, my home, whatever. Like, I've had to learn to not be so hard. I had to learn not to be to expect so much from others when we all do things differently, and they're all okay. It doesn't have to be my specific way. It's a lot of things that I had to learn that I'm still learning, to just take a step back, really take a step back and observe my reactions, my way of doing things, you know, and really it's the one thing that I'm grateful for as far as having an open communication with my family, my husband, my children, is because if I ever do make them feel a certain way, like, they make me very well aware of it. Sometimes I catch it myself right away, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes they need to point it out, and when they do, it's like, okay, you know, I see their point. I see how it could have been maybe a different delivery, or maybe accepting, the situation in a different manner. And again, it's that awareness, and with the awareness comes the accountability, and just they go so hand in hand, and with me, with everything that I'm putting towards the investment that I'm putting towards myself on a daily basis has to be worth my whole life. Like everything that I'm building, everything that I'm creating, everything that I have with everyone around me. Otherwise, what's the point? Like what's all this for if I'm not going to be using it effectively to just, always try to be the best version of myself, a better person. We can, again, we can always be better. So I just want to share with you the importance behind self-awareness, but then the even bigger importance behind what we choose to do once we are aware of ourselves in certain situations. I just know that I don't ever want to give my power to anyone, ever. Like I'm proud of the work that I'm putting in every single day. And some days are easier than others, and some days are extremely hard. And all of that, I'm proud of, and it's mine. And I don't ever want to give it to anyone, like ever again. So, moral of the story, my friends, is just putting all of our work into action, putting our intentions into action, making sure that we are being super intentional with all the work that we're putting into ourselves, our lives, our relationships, what that's looking for, what's that looking like for us, and just being okay with the awareness that we have for ourselves, but being even more okay with the accountability that comes with that awareness. So, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If this resonates with you at all, I would love some feedback. And as always, I send you guys so much love, so much peace, so much light. My goodness, the practice of putting your hands over your heart and just even closing your eyes and taking some deep breaths, I promise you, wow, it's game changer sometimes, whether it's starting off your day that way or ending your day or in the middle of the day when, something is stressing you, or even a few times a day. It's always so reconnecting to put our hands over our hearts, close our eyes, take some deep breaths, and just really try to be in a good space. So much love. Thank you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.